Hello, good evening. Welcome to Girls Run These Worlds. I am Eve Burke, or Eve Riss. I am your Grail Guide this evening as we get into some Inspirisles. We're on episode 4 of our 6-episode run, over halfway through, and about to get into some really exciting things. For those who don't know, Inspirisles is an all-ages tabletop role-playing game promoting storytelling, empathy, deaf awareness, with an emphasis on cooperation. What does that mean? Well, it means we'll be doing some finger spelling and some signing live on stream. If you look, the ASL and BSL alphabets should be flashing up so you can join in. But yeah, first things first, better introduce my lovely players. And we're going in the order that's on my screen. You have no idea before somebody asks what order we're going in. First up today is Taylor. Taylor, tell us who you are and who you're going to be.
Hi, yes, I'm Taylor, which is T-A-Taylor. Or I do also have a sign name, which is this. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm playing Briar. There we go. Silent, my little frog croak. As I name Briar. Briar also uses she, her pronouns, and uses earth elemental related magic.
Awesome. Next up, we have Fiona.
Ha! I knew it. Anyway, hello. my name is
nothing
Fiona.
Nothing like your character.
No, nothing like me at all. Yes, my name is Fiona. I am playing Morgan. And we both use she, her pronouns, and we have the element of air for this event. And yeah, things are kicking off. And it's exciting. We also talked about body swapping earlier, and apparently I just swapped with my horse, but not Clopsy, the actual other Morgan horse. So there you go. That's
with Briar's horse.
Briar's horse, exactly. And all the other horses are just laughing at me now, so that's fine. But yes, excited to be here. Excited to fight whatever's going on.
Great. Next up we have Gaskinator.
Hello, I am long name spell Gas. Oh. A Tor.
This is more of a cliffhanger than the story last week. There.
And I'm using the element of I'm playing she, her pronouns. I'm playing Da. Da. Then there's ITH. Did I ever? Yeah, H is G, but with 2. And then Dahi. And I'm using the element of, I know this one, air. That one's easy because it's 3 letters. Yes, air. Dahi's been interrupted from getting his first win as the leading loser of our group. This knight has stopped him from claiming victory, so he shall avenge himself.
Amazing. Next up we have Maddie.
Hello, yes, I am Maddie, and I use she, her pronouns, and I am playing Bobby. No, but there we go. That's it. Got there. It's just there's so many vowels, and I'm just like, which finger is which vowel? And I use water elemental magic. So what? There we go. I'm currently being jealous of the Black Knight's aesthetic and worried that what that says about me personally.
Impeccable aesthetics. It says you're a goth, and I can relate. So last but not least, we have Nox.
Hi everyone, I'm Nox. She, her pronouns, and I'm playing Ellie. Yeah, I did it this time. Okay, cool. And she is a fire think this is fire, right?
Yeah.
Fire elemental, and last we left, she knows who this is, so I'm very excited. The entire week I was just like, I know something else.
I've got a secret. Nice, amazing. Cool. And I should also mention our producer tonight is the wonderful Ryu, without whom we could not function or do the stream at all. Taking care of all the technical stuff so we don't have to. Amazing. So we've had hints already, but getting into our recap. Last time we journeyed to our first Fey city of Roost, the home of the Glow, with all of their incredible scholarship. We rescued some butterflies on the way, helping somebody out and gaining some belief. We studied up on the burial mound that we found in the previous session at the Soaring Archive, and asked some questions about the Black Knight Mordred of Arthurian legend. Learned a little bit, learned that the sword that we found was Excalibur, or at least the hilt of it, and then attended a welcome party where we were made very welcome by the Glow. Unfortunately, just as the dance-off for this welcome party, what welcome party is complete without a dancing competition, was about to start, we witnessed an attack on Roost, the light lift, a incredible magical feature under construction in the center of the city, this half-completed beam of light reaching up into the clouds, connecting soon the Isles with the Over Isles, was attacked with strange shadowy magic. And as the chaos broke out on the rooftop and some people rushed towards the light lift to help and others tried to gather people up and get them to safety, as the children of the party, the young baby bird Glow, gathered around the Pendragons for safety, a dark looming form rose up over this rooftop party, and you came face to face with what you've only seen hinted before, a large, massive in fact, black dragon, and on its back a rider in all black plate armor with a winged helm and a dragon coming up over the top. One of you, seeing the long, thin, pale face of a young man in this armor, recognizes this person. But for now, it's all kicking off. Everyone around you is running. As you are, your eyes fixated on this large form in front of you, you also see smaller winged creatures, wyverns, appearing on the rooftop, attacking various people. This is the school of shaping that you're on the roof of, so they're not completely defenseless. Some people are starting to shape and protect themselves, but still it's chaotic. You've got these young kids gathered around you, looking up at you and looking at the dragon and just looking absolutely petrified. As you watch, the rider on the back of the dragon lifts a dark shadow-wreathed sword in one hand and begins shaping with the other, and is about to attack you. So we are going to go into a disbelief battle. This is very much like a belief barrier in that we're going to go through rounds. We're going to choose a leader each round. And the leader's going to say what they'll do, and everybody else will say what they do to help. You give a bonus to the leader on their roll by helping. And it's the same success barrier. 11 or higher is a success. It's 3d6 that you roll. So yeah. Who would like to lead this first round?
I think Bobby has an idea of something that she could do, but if anyone else has something that they're eager to share, then
I'm just waiting for Dahi to finish the dance competition. So
no, Dahi's been interrupted. He's
like,
ready to
middle of doing the robot.
Yeah, he goes from like doing his breakdown spinning to like instant charge out with Excalibur. Because he got it back from he got it back. So
yes, he did.
yeah.
You're gonna charge with just the hilt of a sword.
It's got a little
guy. It's got a little pointy on it.
Okay.
That's what I would do if I was the leader, though.
Okay. I'm gonna ask Maddie, could Bobby's idea complement this attack with Excalibur or not? Is it a separate thing?
Bobby's idea would be to create some kind of water bubble force field around the Black Knight to sort of restrain them, but so I don't know if a sword hilt would penetrate this force field.
Dahi goes to the death.
Okay, let's decide who's leading this, right? We'll do like a fakey almost initiative roll. Each of you roll a d6, highest roll goes first.
You got it.
Oh, this could determine quite a lot of things.
I got a 5.
Okay. Bobby's leader.
Oh.
Okay, Bobby's leader. So I'm gonna say
Oh, thank
narratively that
God.
means that Dahi hefts the sword and is about to be like chosen one. But Bobby, you get in there first and begin shaping. Those of you who see that Bobby is shaping, you see the intent there and you see the bubble starting to form. Is there anything that you're doing to help in this moment?
I think I want to. This is maybe a little bit too weird. But usually water has some minerals in it. And so I think I want to like infuse it with more like strength through the like bits of earth that are kind of in it, so like to reinforce the water.
You're fortifying the water.
I'm fortifying the water.
Ooh, if it's like salt water, like salt crystals could be formed.
Yeah, something like that.
To make it a proper encasement.
Fluoride.
Okay,
That's very cool. I
Reminder,
think
you don't have to add anything, but if there's anything that you want to do in this moment.
I think
Go
for it.
Spider-Man
after ladies first.
All right, fine. I go first. I will say I wouldn't be anything to do with the shaping thing. I think all Morgan would do would try and get the children down whatever stairs, so that just move them out the way using this distraction to move the children. So I don't know if that will help the role, but that's what she would be doing. So not.
I'm going to say that it helps. It helps the scenario. So yeah. Cool.
So yeah, I'll be doing that. But like, come on. Maybe use the air to like push people slightly downstairs.
Yeah.
Push the children off the roof.
No.
They're fine.
Oh no, Morgan is the bad one.
They'll fly, they're fine.
Yeah,
okay.
they have wings.
All right. And what was Ellie's idea?
Oh, I was going to ask if either the air people wanted to help me create like kind of like when Ellie and Morgan were dueling and Morgan had tried to get the fire like in like a tornado kind of. I wanted to see if any of the air people wanted to help Ellie and maybe like around the building they're in, create like a force field around them of like fire and help with the air.
Okay, around the room.
But
I'm going to
air
say
people
that's
got
a
their own
separate
shit
round,
going on
because that's quite big. I'm going to say we'll do the bubble thing first, and then we'll roll for that and see how that goes. How does that sound?
Also we probably need the evacuation to happen before we start locking down the building.
In that case, I'm also helping get kids out and like trying to like yeah.
Okay, so Bobby, your idea was to restrain. Okay, are you like targeting like neck down the hands that are shaping the sword? What are you targeting?
I'm just doing a big bubble around the whole dude.
The whole dude. Okay.
Throw away the whole man.
Throw the whole man into a bubble.
Yes, Bobby.
Is there any way to, because that isn't how it works, to use wind to freeze the water to make it solidify? But my other idea was to just do wind straight down, so like he can't move essentially. to further restrain, I guess, while the bubble is shaping.
Okay, cool. All right, we'll allow this. So, that is Bobby. Please do your 3d6 roll. So, the way this works is you are not dominant because they are not using any of the elements you're familiar with. So you don't get to re-roll anything. It's just a straight roll.
Oh,
All
no.
right. Ooh, that's 12 on the dice without any bonuses.
Ooh.
Okay, so, and they rolled
Oh no.
in a disbelief battle, your opponent rolls as well. It's like the duels that you had. So as you're doing it, this person is still shaping. And I don't know if it's because they had the drop on you or what, but they rolled a 14. So as you try to form this bubble around them, they shape and the bubble just disperses. As the water infused with earth and the air come for this person, they just wave a sort of bow of shadow around them, and the elements just disappear and fail to take hold. They whip their hand, and you are surrounded by shadows. Morgan, as you and Ellie are trying to shepherd the children towards the nearest stairway, a wall of shadow comes up in front of you, and you're cut short. Out of the corner of your eye, you do see there are other people coming to your aid at this point. You see Dawn Shadow Dancer, the headmistress of the Shaping School, rushes forward and lunges for the much larger dragon, flying into the air towards him, and manages to knock into the side of him. The Black Rider leaps gracefully off of the back of the dragon just in time and lands within the circle of shadow with you all. He looks at you all one by one, close up, holding his sword to his side, and he lowers it. He says, "You've been lied to."
Oh no.
What are you doing next round?
Charging out of
Yeah,
the
I was gonna say, you is the charge plan.
Epic sword duel with a broken hilt.
Do it.
Yeah.
You can go for it if you want, Dahi.
Yeah, using the wind to empower the swings, like to blow behind them. That's what my plan was.
Okay, great. So you can attack with the hilt of Excalibur. The rest of you, are you doing anything while Dahi does this?
Can we do something to help with that still?
I mean, I guess my intention is to attack, so if you guys attack him also, that would be helping.
Well,
Can I set Dahi's sword on fire again?
Yes, do that.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So you set the sword on fire. Let's say that's what you do. So Dahi, you can roll with a +2 because you're using your shape and you're using, and Ellie is helping as well.
Am I able to help with that as well or no?
Yeah, if you've got an idea, go for it.
I do have an idea. I want a sword. I want to use like earth elements to build up the sword a little bit so it's not just a stub. So to try to like force some more
to forge the rest of the blade.
Yeah, to
Amazing.
grow like out of the end of it. So it won't be
That's so
Excalibur, but make it a little bit longer.
Yeah, just give it a bit of reach. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So cool.
Great. Okay, so that's
and it's on fire.
+3. Go for it.
Yeah, I can't think of
Okay.
anything to help.
Okay. +3.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't like that you rolled too. I just remembered that happens. Okay, that's 14.
They got a 16.
What? You got a 14 last time, though.
They just rolled a 5 and a 6 in amongst the 3 die that they had just. So you lunge forward. The hilt of the blade. Dahi's not even thinking; he's just going into this cool sword fight. The sword, like shining solid earth, shoots out of the metal, and it becomes a full sword, and then catches fire, and it goes towards. But just as you are about to hit the figure, he barely moves. He just holds up the
Dahi
other
was
sword
absolutely
and
too
leans.
focused on making the noises of what the sword would be like swing, swing.
The knight leans in, and you can see that he's a boy. He's maybe only 2 or 3 years older than you, but he just looks tired and weary and emotionless as he says to you, "This land does not belong to the Fae. This land belongs to the worms. Help me take it back for the true owners of the land."
With force?
If necessary.
This is a pretty... You're going straight to necessary right away. I didn't hear any negotiations, pal.
And he
bestie, you
shoves
came
you
out
away with his
swinging.
sword and stands back and looks at you all and says, "So you're just
This
like the
isn't about
rest."
me.
I mean, what makes you think that? How do you know that we've been lied to and it's not you who's been lied to?
How do you know that you haven't been lied to?
Well, you're not even talking about it. You're just flying in and attacking things, and if there's kids around that are getting hurt, that doesn't seem like you're doing the right thing.
"I have no time for this," and he just starts shaping again, and he's going to attack. Another round here. What are you going to do? As the wall of shadow is still raging around you, and you can see the headmistress Dawn in the sky fighting the much larger dragon, tooth and claw. A lot of the people on the roof have escaped now. There are a few still fighting with a few wyverns, but you are trapped here, and the children are kind of cowered down next to you, Morgan, and just like, "What should we do?"
If Ellie's up for it, I'll be up for doing like a flamethrower attack with like if we do hands together, and then just like with the power of friendship,
friendship.
if Ellie's okay to do on that,
Yeah, Ellie's just gonna go like, okay, like not even thinking about it, just go with you, like.
And then just
was that you signing friendship?
I was just trying to do my element. I'm like, yeah, friendship, good, great, and then go.
Okay, so you are combining your elements. Who's rolling?
I'd give it to Ellie if that's all right.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do it. I'm scared.
3d6 with a +1 because Morgan is helping you.
Okay. Okay, I rolled. Oh, I gotta take a screenshot of this. I rolled 2 6s and a 4.
Okay. So you
17.
get
so 16 plus 1, so 17.
That's an unshakable success. You all immediately gain. It would be 3 belief each because this is a level 3. So they did not roll as high as that. Describe for me what happens.
Does Morgan want to describe it?
I can if you want me to. I think I just
go
think
ahead.
There's a moment where obviously I'm looking up. There's children looking up towards with Coke bottle eyes, like, and I'm just like, oh god, I hate this. And I just see Ellie, and after that, thinking about all the stuff that happened in the library and stuff, I'm like, I've got to be better than this. Grab your hands, so together, and then like sort of 3, 2, 1, and just almost Iron Man style, like grabbing Ellie's hand and just like blasting it out like a leaf blower straight towards this.
Yeah, shaping with your free hands, and the flamethrower of superheated fire with air pushing it forward like a swirl hits him in the armor. The shadow walls drop as he is distracted, and he tries to resist and is nearly pushed to the very edge of the rooftop. As this happens, the clouds have been quite heavy overhead. It was raining earlier that day, and you hadn't noticed how grey it had become. And the shadow that he emits, you can feel the pressure of it on you, like weighing you down. Suddenly a shaft of sunlight comes through, and it's not the light lift. You see a flying ship come down out from the clouds, breaking up the clouds and bringing sun with it. And as it comes down towards the roof, you see the Black Knight look up and say, "I'll deal with you later." And he jumps from the roof. You see him, you hear a whistle, and you see the black dragons pull away from each other as the larger dragon swoops down, You can't see. You stare over the side of the roof and see the Black Knight get caught by this dragon just in time, who flies up into the air. The rider shapes and they both disappear.
Oh my word.
As the ship comes down to dock by the side of the roof, the rest of the wyverns seem to realize the tide has changed and fly away, trying to escape. Everything has changed. They stop attacking, and now they are just trying to get away from the last shapers repelling them. Everything in a few seconds goes from chaos to calm as you stand there, and the few glow who stayed on the rooftop start emerging from behind, their hiding places underneath tables, behind the kind of gazebos that have been set up, behind these trees and flowering garlands on this roof, looking. And as soon as they see the ship, they come running out and sort of line up. A gangplank comes down onto the roof, and at the top of it, you see a strange, otherworldly creature. It's humanoid in shape and appears to be a young man, not as young as you, maybe in his late 20s. He's wearing sort of white, loose clothing, shirt and trousers, grey boots, a large black cloak that seems to be made of like storm cloud. He has a shock of white hair that appears to have thunderbolts running through it, and his eyes are the blue-white of lightning. He has long pointed ears, and he stands at the top. All of the glow bow in front of him. And he just says, "I'm sorry I'm late. Strangely, you notice that despite the response he's getting from everybody on this rooftop, this deferential response, he looks a little bit awkward and kind of looks around and says, though it looks like you were handling yourselves." And he steps forward towards the five of you and reaches out his hand to shake whoever's hand is closest to him and says, "I'm Vorm of the Inspired. It's a pleasure to meet you. It seems like we have a lot to talk about."
I'm like shaking his
He shakes Briar's hand.
Yeah.
It's like, I think we can stop shaking now.
Should I bow?
Oh, no, everybody get up, everybody. And the glow all sort of get up and dust themselves off and sort of gather around you. And there's like a rush of voices like explaining to this Inspired what happened. And they're like, "Oh, and the light lift was attacked, and then the wyverns came, and there was a massive dragon and a pendragon in black armor." And they're just all these voices chattering. He's like, okay, everybody, okay. He looks around, and Dawn Shadow Dancer comes forward and says, "I'll take care of the wounded. Do you think your crew could take care of the damage?" And he sort of looks around and says, "Good idea." And looks and says, "Crew," and the crew, you see this kind of motley crew of like slightly piratey looking people, but wholesome enough, are just like, "Aye." And he's like, "Go and look and see if there's been any damage to buildings. Be nice, people will be scared." And the crew are like, "Aye," and sort of sail away. Dawn starts gathering up the various glow and looking and seeing if any healing's required. And Vorm says, "Shall we go and find somewhere to sit and talk?"
How do I be as cool as you? How do you do with your hair?
You just see the hair starts like standing on end a little bit, as if he's a bit like almost embarrassed, and he just sort of calms it down and is like, "That's just I'm made of elemental magic. It kind of just happens."
No offense. Everyone froze for me.
Nope.
That's fine. Okay, there we go. It's like, no offense, but I'm not going anywhere with anyone new until I forgot her name.
Scriv.
The lady who we keep. Scriv says that you're okay.
I will sort of hold Ellie's. I'm still holding Ellie's hand, and I go, "That's like a big deal person. They're part of the giant. You weren't there for the story, I don't think. But they're very cool. Just play it cool, Ellie. Okay?" And I'm like, "Look, I'm Morgan.
Play it cool. We just got attacked.
Yeah, just play it cool. Hi, I'm Morgan. This is Dahi. This is Briar, this is Bobby, and this is Ellie. We're the new Pendragons. My element's air. And it's just basically it's going as red as I am right now, because obviously this is the air elemental person. Big deal.
Cool. You have Excalibur.
I do.
That's
Dahi does,
great
yeah.
news. Great news.
It's not all of it though.
I wonder where Scriv is. And then, as if on cue, Scriv comes up the stairs and is like, "Oh, you won! Excellent. Well done. Great. Couldn't be prouder. Oh, and you've met her." And she sort of dips kind of an elegant curtsy and looks up and says, Your Highness. Vorm's like, I don't call me that. She's well, so Vorm, this is the Pendragons. I assume you've met. Yes, is everybody okay? Nobody hurt? You look great. And you can see that she's just like got nervous energy. Her hands are shaking and she's like kind of rattling away to kind of calm herself down. It's just sort of like, so we got everybody to safety. It seems like nobody's been desperately hurt, which is incredible considering, really. So tea, shall we? I could really do with some tea. And sort of leads you downstairs, and Vorm sort of gestures for you to go first, and then he'll follow.
The whole way down, Dahi's just peppering him with questions like, "So, you have a pirate ship? What are you, a captain or a king, or like what are you?"
I'm an inspired and the captain of the Gallant Gull.
Do Pendragons have to do this quest thing, or can after I do it, can I be a pirate too?
Oh, I have an ex Pendragon on my crew, Matilda. You know, if you, yeah, you could totally join my crew.
Cool.
Yeah,
yeah, I'll think about it.
I mean, yeah, you think about it.
Yeah, okay.
Cool. You get to a room, you know, there's a comfortable sitting room. It's the headmistress's sitting room that you're taken to, kind of the staff area. There's a nice rug, you know, nice home comforts, you know, little kitchenette with teas and coffees and things, and everybody sort of sits down, and Vorm kind of looks awkwardly as if he doesn't really want to sink into a couch, and just pulls up like a wooden stool and just sits on that and kind of crouches and says, "So, yeah, I came for your party, but I was delayed. There were lots of worm pirates up in the upper atmosphere. I don't know if they were part of the same attack, but yeah, I'm really sorry. Any idea what happened there?"
Some Mordred wannabe who thinks that like we've been lied to about the Fae being in control of this place.
Oh.
Yeah. Stole the armor right from the tomb of Mordred, by the way. We found it.
Mordred.
Yeah, we found this is where we found Excalibur because we're cool like that.
Morgan will bring out the journal really awkwardly and hand it over to this person and be like, I wrote it all down, and just don't look at the first couple of pages, and open it and read it.
He opens it and starts carefully kind of scanning it, and Scriv who can't just let the man read, is just like, so they found the barrow just on a quite unrelated quest, which they also succeeded at. They've been questing since the moment they got here. Honestly, I've barely had time to even tell them who you are. I'm terribly sorry if they were impertinent. Everybody, so the Inspired are kind of like the gods of the Isles. And Vorm looks up and says, we're not gods. And she says, they're kind of like the gods. They're very powerful elemental beings, created at the dawn of civilization, you know. And Vorm it happens to be the patron of the glow and of all air shapers. And yes, it's a real honor to have him here. And Vorm's just like, I am likewise honored, and just sort of reads the journal quite quickly and then hands it back to you, Morgan, and says, that's very well documented, very comprehensive.
Thanks. I really practiced my handwriting quite a bit in the handwriting club. Then really realised how awful that sounded, and then just does not say anything else.
Who else was in handwriting club, Morgan?
It was Morgan's handwriting club, so it was only Morgan, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, handwriting is important.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Morgan was really like, Morgan and Ellie were like the only reason why we were able to drive that Mordred guy away. They did like a flamethrower together. So
yeah, I saw that. That was impressive. You've only been here for such a short time and you're already marrying the elements together. I wish my siblings and I were always so good at that. So somebody has to tell my siblings right away what is happening. And Scrib's like, well, actually, we were due to go to Avalon next, so we could let Igraine know. And he said, that's great. Yeah. 1 second. And he just gets up and sort of, you hear him out in the corridor sort of speak low to some of the glow who are just hanging around outside the door like groupies. Like, just sort of like, what's going on? And he's like, could you get somebody to go to Shedscale in the north and speak to Ethelyn, and Weldspar and speak to Kilner. They have to know what happened here. They got away. Yeah. And he comes back and sort of sits down and says, I'm sorry about that. So I think you should stay on, if you want to, that is, you could stay on the Gallant Gull tonight. Probably be safer. Yeah, and we can give you a lift to Avalon tomorrow. We've really got to get back to the Worm Pirates, but you know, it won't take long to take you. So yeah, we'll take you over to Igraine, and yeah, you can let her know what happened, and the silver apple's there as well, and they need to know. And yeah,
the silver apple.
And Scriv jumps in and says, "Oh, I didn't have time to tell them about that either. So a lot of the Pendragons who retire, they either become aides to the Inspired, like Matilda on Vorm's vessel is an aide. I myself am an aide to Athelin. But yes, those who don't and also don't go home have a seat on the Silver Apple Council. So they're a group of knights, ex-Pendragons, who have done their Pendragon quests and are now sticking around in the lands, just generally battling disbelief. So yes, it's good for you to meet them because it's one of your options if you do decide to stay here after your time as a Pendragon is up. So yes. I suppose we should go and inform the council, and there'll be a discussion of the silver apples about what we ought to do about the situation.
Would they know like who this is? Like who this Pendragon is? We know the dragon is.
I don't think he's a Pendragon. Oh, you know who the worm is?
Vorm
leans forward.
So
I point in the book where all the information from last session is clearly documented.
Oh,
I think
you think it's
Skuldrin.
Skuldrin?
Yes.
Skuldrin.
Exactly that person, Skuldrin, yeah.
That's... Yeah, it looked like him. Yeah, it's very bad news.
But maybe someone from the Silver Apples will know who the writer is, who the boy is.
And Scrib's like, well...
Oh, I know who the
It's-
writer is.
What?
What?
Double take, everybody. Looks at Ellie.
Whiplash.
You just... Ellie's just there, like, crocheting, and, like, suddenly looks up and everybody's just like...
Have you known the whole time?
There's a record scratch and
knew
there's
when I
just a
saw
glow
him.
in the background, just like on a turntable.
Don't practice your DJing in here. Get out. It's not the time.
So you know them and you still decided that a flamethrower blast straight to the chest was the best way to deal with them?
Shut up. Anyway. Yeah, no, I know who. Yeah.
Wait,
You're acting like this is not important, but it's actually really important.
yeah, who was it?
It's just Eric.
His name's Eric! You could have told us that! Oh, we could have roasted him!
I don't think it... To be fair to Ellie, I don't think it would have done... I mean, maybe. I mean, Eric's a fine name.
Yeah, what do you want me to do? Start, like, telling you, like, his backstory or something while we're in the middle of fighting him? Like...
But you're not.
Like, flamethrower. What up, my dude? Haven't seen you around school lately. Thought you got expelled.
Can you
Wait,
tell us
Sorry,
now,
bestie. Like, oh yeah, no, that was Eric. He went to my school.
though? You seem very like
Yeah.
this is completely unsurprising to you.
Well, surely she's just in shock. You've all had a nasty surprise.
It's not like we were friends. He was just kind of like, you know, everyone was like, that's Eric. He's super angry. His parents are really strict. You know, he didn't do like so hot in school. So it was just like, you know, like he was like that guy that they warned you, like, stay away from him. You know, he might be a shoplifter. He might be doing crimes, you know, but like, I don't know. I didn't believe any of that. But he hasn't been around school a while, so I thought he got expelled.
Oh, so maybe instead he was here.
Doing real crimes.
That would explain
fantasy
the general
crimes.
disposition of the school.
Fantasy war crimes.
No.
No, not like...
Well,
Yeah,
that's useful to know. Angry young man finds his way into the Isles somehow and befriends one of the most dangerous worms ever to walk the Isles.
But Scriv, I thought the only way into this place is the Isles is through the All's Well. Like, and
No.
needs like a nourisher.
As I thought I mentioned, no, there are other ways in. Fey crossings or other beings who are able to find enough magic. I mean, really, the Allswell was made by magic, other creatures' belief. And so other creatures who gathered enough belief could potentially, if they knew the way, make a portal. And sometimes, you know, the two worlds live side by side, and so, you know, there are stories throughout mortal history of people finding their way across. The Allswell didn't exist when Arthur and Guinevere first came to the Isles. They came here quite by chance through a Fey crossing. The Allswell was built later, once we realized our two worlds were so close together.
So would Eric be a Pendragon then, or just somebody who happened to be here?
Could be either. I mean,
He was shaping.
Do you have to be a
But-
Pendragon to shape?
It was like shadow
I
shaping.
think so.
Like,
when did you know he's
what
a
element-
Pendragon? He's like 18. He would have been here by the time he came if he was a Pendragon.
And I would have known him if he'd come via the usual means.
But maybe
Yeah.
he came here a while ago and turned 18 here. Is that what you're saying? That he came in some time ago by a different way, and then so his well-wisher didn't find him?
Or was tempted across by something else.
I mean, he's only been gone for like 6 months. Time works differently here, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, actually, no.
That makes
Time
sense.
here runs the same as in the mortal world. It's just that when you go back in time.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay, so he's only been gone for 6 months then. That I'm just not going to even try to process right now. But he's only been gone for 6 months-ish. I don't know.
In your timeline.
Anyway, to start worrying about timelines. My head's a bit like so. What Eric said was that we had been lied to. This wasn't the land. The claim of the land was with the worms. So whatever, well, they want to take it back clearly, but who knows how many people are working with Eric to reclaim this back.
Vorm looks at Briar and says, "Is there something wrong with your hand?" It looks fine.
Maybe. I don't know. But isn't it everybody's? Like, isn't it the worms and the fays, the land?
Yes. It never belonged to the worms. The worms simply acted as if it did. They hoarded belief for themselves. They were tyrants. And the Fae, unfortunately, were forced to fight for their ability to live freely and have their share of the belief of the land. And some worms accepted that, and there was a treaty, and we have our worm friends now, as you see. Others, like Skoldrin, couldn't accept it or wouldn't. They went into hiding, down with their last remnants of belief, their hoard hidden away. But there are those in factions who believe the worms should be restored.
Isn't belief just... I mean, maybe we could just show Eric that there's enough for everybody, because you can make more of it. It's not like there's only so much.
I don't think
Vorm's
Eric
like
was with
lightning
belief.
eyes look directly into Briar's, and he says, "That's incredibly wise, and that is the key point that they fail to realize."
Thank you.
He looks at Scriv and says, "They're good. They're getting it quickly." Scriv's like beaming with pride, like, yes, they really are. Really very good. I can't take any of the credit, but they really are very good.
Yeah, that flamethrower was all Morgan. That was all her idea. You know, she really like...
Shut up, shut up, shut up.
But a flamethrower without
That was so
flame?
smart. I don't know what I
does
was
that
doing.
mean?
Just a thrower.
She just guided my hands. You know, that was all Morgan.
Mm-hmm. Well, I do have an ancestor
Isn't
called
this
the
dude like your
Unrelentless.
god or something?
No, don't. I'm trying to be cool. I take Ellie to corner. Be cool, okay? Look,
I'm not cool. I wasn't the cool kid in school. I was the very blunt person
Me
who didn't
neither.
know how to socialize.
me
Okay, then how are you telling me to be cool? Neither of us can be cool.
I had a handwriting club
This
where I
guy
was
is
the
like
only member. I am not cool. And yet for once...
Okay, but this guy's like your god, right? So let him know that you take the credit. Just I don't care. I'm tired. It's been a long night. Just you take the credit for the stupid freaking
turn back.
flame.
We turn back
Turn
around.
back, and Vorm
Yeah.
is standing right next to both of you and looks at you both and says, "Do you need to eat?"
Yes. Yes, we
You're
do.
not you
Yes.
and you're hungry.
Yes, we're both very hungry.
Do you have a Snickers?
Well, the crew will be back soon. We'll have dinner on the ship if that suits you.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Great.
That would be very cool.
Great. I'll have quarters prepared for you. You should hopefully be comfortable enough, and we'll get going to Avalon tomorrow.
When you guys sing on the ship, are they sky shanties?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So, the ship does come back soon. They've done various repairs and bits of work. And it docks next to the School of Shaping, where it came initially. And you come on board, and you are welcomed on board by the crew of the Gallant Gull. Vorm introduces you to Candice, a glow who is very sort of barrel-chested compared to the other glow that you've met. Still the sort of brown plumage with the white streaks. He's got a little pair of round spectacles perched on the edge of his beak, but he's large and stocky, and he's puts out his feathery hand as like, a pleasure to meet you. And then he introduces you to his aide, Matilda, who is a human woman, aged about 25. She's blonde. She's all dressed in blue. Most of the crew dress in kind of like a blue-gray kind of air-themed palette. And she sort of looks at you all and goes, all right. And then she turns to the rest of the crew and goes, come on, we've got to get these all comfortable. We've got to get this all sorted. Are those crew quarters sorted out? Come on. And it's like rallying everyone around as Vorm sort of paces it onto the ship and goes, bids you adieu and goes to his captain's quarters. He does not eat dinner. You eat a lively meal with the crew, who seems like somebody's always playing a fiddle as you eat, and they're sort of chatting and asking you about yourselves. And Candice is there like, oh yes, if you ever choose to make the journey to the Overisles, then I will be happy to escort you. I have been a guide for many Pendragons heading to that part of the world before, although it seems your quest leads you to Avalon next. Have you seen the World Tree before? Oh,
I'm
it's
really excited
quite
to.
a sight. Quite a sight. Really
I've been here
rousing.
for like 3 days.
Well, it will make you realize what it's all for.
Well, the lift, like, I know it was being prepared. Will it take long to repair it so that the Overisles can be accessed again?
Oh, I think so. The Overisles can always be accessed. We can fly there on the Gallant Gull, and those who ride Nimbus can make it the journey. But it will be a lot easier for the day-to-day people to get up there. Once the light lift is built, it is a terrible setback, but I'm told that the engineers are back to it and not to be deterred. It would be very good to catch the culprit, though, of course.
Eric.
Oh, is that his
Dahi
name?
I'm starting to regret telling
No.
everybody his name is Eric. I feel like I live in the
Eric.
Phantom of the Opera now.
Eric. My nemesis, Eric.
I was thinking
It's
Little
not a
Mermaid
menacing
Prince
name.
as well.
So I was thinking Little Mermaid Prince Eric, yeah.
I was thinking Eric with a K.
His name is
that's more
Eric
benefit.
Luffy. It's not a menacing name.
Luffy?
Is it? Oh. As in Monkey D from One Piece?
Yeah, exactly. It's
I
not
did
a
not
menacing
know
name,
that
and I feel like everyone's like, ooh, Eric.
Wait, Matilda,
I live in
what year did you come into
Oh
the
no,
Isles?
I eat my dinner very quickly so we don't have to have this conversation.
Dahi's definitely grilling Matilda though. Like he's like, I need to figure out how to get this job. Is the accent necessary? Is the
Well-
what level of air shaping do we need to be at?
I think your accent's fine. I just think, like, Well, by the time you finish being a Pendragon, then
Yeah.
you should be fine to do the job. I mean, most of it, shaping wise, is just when the winds aren't in your favour, you'll shape air to move the sails. I mean, honestly, I'd be thinking of retiring anyway. Don't tell Vorm. He gets fuming every time I even broach the subject. So if you could get trained up and come and take my place, that'd be great. Because I'm thinking.
You're retiring at 25.
I mean, or taking a little break, you know, or doing a bit of travelling. I've been in the sky so long. I don't know.
Where else would you want to be?
I don't know, little place on the coast, you know, just chill out a bit. You're young, you don't know. I just want to like just relax for a while. It's a lot of work being aboard this ship. Well, look, like I get it, but we're always being attacked by like sky pirates, and that's cool, definitely.
Yeah.
Totally. But
Yeah.
after a little while, it does get a little bit like, you know, draining. You do eventually find that you want like a little bit more stability.
Bobby's
What
kind of
year
lurking
did
in
you
the.
come through?
Oh, well, I came through 10 years ago, so I guess it was
You
like
know Shrek!
2013. Yeah, I know Shrek. What? Is that important?
Yeah, it has been in our discussions with Scriv, absolutely.
Scriv's totally out of touch. Scriv's out of touch for the time she came through. I don't think Scriv ever like watched TV.
Brutal.
It's not an insult, it's just true.
Was Scriv only allowed to have like PBS or whatever the British equivalent would be?
I guess
Cute.
that'd be like the BBC or
Or ITV? I don't know.
ITV, maybe ITV. Oh god,
Pop Girl.
Yeah.
I don't know. You have to ask her.
I don't
I
understand
mean,
any of this
Yeah.
conversation.
Edutainment. Scriv's only allowed to watch edutainment shows.
I think Scriv was just always practicing her instruments and that.
Hmm.
She's very dedicated to her music.
Wait. Also, the Sky Shanties. Did you bring any from Earth, or are they all
Well,
like new Fae
no,
ones?
Sky Shanties were new to me when I started sailing with the ship, but now they're, well, every evening. They should be starting up soon. Candice, you gonna get on that fiddle? And Candice goes like, "Whoa, okay," and sort of sits down and gets his fiddle out and starts playing a bit of a reel. And Matilda goes over and there's some like barrels and things just of different sizes that look like they were just storage, but she kind of pulls them together and you realize they're all hollowed. And she gets like pulls a pair of drumsticks from nowhere and starts banging on them like this really cool rhythm. And some of the people on board this ship are mostly different types of fae. You've got mostly glow, or you know, a few booker, a few sort of sea themed kind of, who obviously got their start doing actual sailing ships, and they all start like dancing with each other and sort of linking arms and swinging around and singing songs, and yeah, it's all very lively after dinner.
Oh.
Is there any glimmer on the ship?
You don't see any, no.
Oh, no, not the cool birds. You think they'd be up here? They're great for pirating.
Actually, okay, you look into the sort of like
Don't
kitchen
give
area,
in.
the galley, and back
No,
there
don't
you
give in
find
to my whims.
no, you do. Like it is a very mixed, different phase ship. I was just being a lazy GM. There is one in the galley, kind of sat there, kind of just sorting through kind of a fruit barrel, sort of like putting apples to the side, going like, not that one, not no. Are all these apples bad? What's going on? Like just looking through all the apples, and eventually find one. Is like just bites into an apple and is just out there chewing it. Looks up at you and is like, "You're right."
Cool bird, Glimmer. You're the one I saw in my dreams. Not you specifically.
You saw Glimmer in your dreams.
Yes.
Sound. So, what's your name?
Dahi.
Dahi. Where do I recognize you from? You seem
Around?
familiar, you. Around.
Yeah.
Oh no, the cool birds
You
don't
got, like,
think
a-
Dahi's cool.
Have you got like a great granddad or something that came here?
I feel like everyone has a great granddad. But yeah,
But
probably.
who like came here?
I don't know. They never said.
No, you definitely seem familiar. You're cool.
Yeah, thanks.
What you up to? You're not
All
joining
right.
in the dancing?
Yeah. Catch you on the flip side.
See you later.
Just starts dancing.
So happy to have met a cool bird.
100% that
Amazing.
the music that's happening is definitely like Muppets Treasure Island style, like, and when you're a professional pirate, like it's going on, and we're all there like, ah.
That's what I'm saying. Did one of
To be
the
clear,
previous
they are not
aides
pirates.
No.
They fight pirates. But yeah.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Did one of the previous aides Pendragons teach them pirate music from Earth? Did they teach them the Muppet Treasure Island?
I think it's been a fruitful exchange.
Okay.
Okay, great. Anything anyone wants to get done this night before you sleep? Rocked to sleep gently as this ship floats through the clouds in your hammock beds.
Bobby would like to see if any of the crew have an eye patch, and if they do, immediately tell Dahi.
There is one like older glow, all of their plumage gone fading to grey, almost snowy white in places with like an eye patch. It's just like sat on a barrel, sort of watching the festivities. He's also got a peg leg.
I will run over to Dahi and just be like very quietly, I don't want to be insensitive, but it's also very cool because there's a glow over there with an eye patch and a peg leg. And I thought you'd think that was
Thank you. Runs up to him. Is it true that you wear eye patches so that you have one eye that's adjusted to the dark so that when you go below deck that you can see, and then you switch the eye patch, or did your eye get mauled?
Flips up the eye patch and there is an eye under there that's kind of blinking.
I imagine the same's not true for the peg leg though.
Nar.
No.
Ellie just yells across, "You can't, Dahi. You can't."
It's really cool.
I lost it to the mouth of a worm pirate, so I did.
Wait. The worm pirates, they're like actual worms that are pirates?
Aye.
For some reason I was picturing people on top of worms being the pirates.
Oh, there's that as well.
That's so cool.
Aye. I could tell you a few tales, lad. And he takes you to a side and starts like telling one of those really scary stories where it's
He's
like,
gonna immediately regret it with all of Dahi's insert questions.
Yeah. Cut to half an hour later, he's like, I don't know what I did with my leg. It just went away and it just I woke up and I had a peg.
Do you think it gave him powers like Kirby when Kirby swallows things?
I don't
Do you
know
think
what
he
that
has
is.
flow powers now? Oh,
I have frankly no idea.
Okay.
Old Salty's tired now. I'm gonna go to bed.
Okay.
Unstoppable force meets unmovable object.
Great. Okay. Anything else?
I think if there's time, Briar might want to go talk to Morgan. But that doesn't have to happen now if we want to do it later.
Happy to do it now.
Yeah, go for it.
I think this would be like after people are like in bed, so like after everyone's like things have kind of quieted down, and I think Briar goes and like knocks on Morgan's whatever room Morgan's in, goes and like knocks on the door.
There's definitely, you hear like a little scrabble and then somebody falling out of a hammock. Ow! And then, yeah.
Oh, sorry, I thought this was Morgan's room. Sorry, Dahi.
No, I'm over here.
Opens. Is it? Oh, hi.
Hey, can I come in and talk? Are you busy?
I assume it's quarters, but like loads of people are sharing, perhaps. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of like 4 to a room, so it might be that Briar was in a different room with Scriv and Cecily, but you know.
Yeah, I'm like,
we could go upstairs.
Go on to deck, perhaps. Yeah, because you could hear definitely like, shut up, as the people snoozing. Sorry.
Just one person unperturbed, like.
Yeah, 100%. One glow at the back. Absolutely. Yeah, we'll head up on deck.
Up onto the deck, and it's night has fallen, and you are above the clouds and have an unobstructed view of the stars and the moon hanging over these isles. It's very beautiful. Just in the corner of the deck, Dahi is still asking old salty questions. But other than that, I'm going to say you have it to yourselves.
Perfect.
I just wanted to talk to you because at first I know you said you weren't mad at us, but I think you were upset. And it kind of, well, first I was feeling like my feelings were hurt because I felt like I wanted to be friends with you, but then I felt like you didn't really want to be friends with anybody. But I think I might be wrong, so you can tell me if I'm wrong. At first my feelings were hurt because I felt like I wasn't supposed to be here and it seemed like you were so much supposed to be here. And then I felt like if you were like unhappy or anything like that, that it was because you wanted like better people to have come in with, or you wanted like, but then I thought that maybe you feel kind of the same way that I feel. And so maybe that's why you were upset that it wasn't like what you thought it was going to be, and you thought maybe you were not what you were supposed to be.
On all of my report cards, I always get, perfectionist, sort of well-minded, well-meaning, top of the class, could work on teamwork, is the feedback I always get. And I find it really hard because I just want to be the best. I want to do well. And that's all I've ever done. I've been the top of the class. I've was first in wildlife club. I even set up my own club for handwriting. But then when I go and do stuff with other people, I don't know how to translate that. And when I found out about Pendragons and the Isles, and I made the connection, and I was like, this is it. I will be with people who know what to do, and I won't be the one that constantly has everything, has the answers, and I will finally be able to fit in. And so, yes, it was a shock. Like, all of you are, I know it's only been a short time, but all of you have your amazing abilities. Like Bobby's bubble earlier, it was incredible. And you with the mineral, and like I appreciate sometimes it's hard to think of what your element can do, but you do so much. That the salt crystals, and that was incredible. I mean, Ellie almost burnt that man off the tower. And I mean, Dahi, it's very hard to be anything like Dahi and be as a powerful force, like no matter what. He ran at that person with a broken sword. I didn't know what to do. If the shadows hadn't been there, I think I might have also run away.
But if any of us were there by ourselves, we would have run away because, I mean, all of us have stuff we can do, but none of us can do it by ourselves. I mean, I think, sometimes I feel like I don't fit in, and I try to do stuff with the earth, but I mean, even if it looks cool, it doesn't work a lot of times. It only works if I can do stuff with plants, and then I'm like, okay, well, that's not really earth.
Briar, you bested me in a battle, and then Ellie bested me in a battle. So technically, I'm default middle of the pack.
But that was just one time. That's just like, I mean, if we played rock, paper, scissors, I could beat you sometimes, and you would beat me sometimes. That doesn't mean that. And it's not about us fighting each other. It's about us all helping each other and working together. So you don't have to be the best, because all of us together can be the best.
But
all of us can together.
What if my best isn't good enough in times of need? When, for whatever reason, I can't save one of you? Or, I mean, what if Dahi had been injured or hurt? What if Bobby's bubble hadn't worked? What if all those, like, you can see she's really struggling, because the idea of not being the best really hits hard and like takes it on herself a little bit. And she looks out over the clouds. I'm sorry, Briar, that we've got off to a bad start. And I think I also need to apologize to Ellie as well on that front.
I mean, I don't have the answers for what you're saying, because I worry about that stuff too, and I worry about not being good enough. But that's why I thought maybe, I don't know, maybe we could, like, you and I could have some kind of like sign to each other when we feel like we're not good enough, and nobody else would know.
I thought you were going to say we should be co-leaders for a second then, and I appreciate that. That's not where this conversation was going. Sorry. Yeah, a sign sounds good. A sign sounds good.
And nobody else would have to know that sometimes we feel like this. Like, nobody else would have to know that sometimes we worry about if we're not the best or if we're not good enough. But then you could have a sign, or we could have a sign that's like, I'm worried that I'm not doing good. And then the other one would do the sign back to be like, you're doing good.
I feel it too.
Yeah. Like, maybe it could just be like the little heart, the little thumb heart.
Sure. It looks really rubbish when she does it.
Whatever, if you just kind of do this, I'll be able to know.
Okay. Thumb up.
I also give a thumbs up.
Nice.
So we just do that for like 5 minutes, and then I go, I should go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Brian.
On it.
Yeah.
Thanks. I'm glad we're friends.
And you go off to hammock. So, you sleep the night, you get a good rest, or not. You had a battle, maybe it was hard to wind down. It's up to you. But for what it's worth, it is soothing, and you are rocked in your hammock by the gentle swaying of the gallant gull as it stays docked high in the clouds above Roost. In the morning, you wake up, there is breakfast, there is more lively conversation with the crew. As you are getting ready to set sail, you hear a voice shouting, excuse me, terribly sorry, excuse me, and you just realize that it's coming from off the side of the ship. And you come to the edge and look over.
Is it the
and
butterflies
you see...
again?
No, it's not Apollonius. You see Myro, who was the librarian researcher at the Soaring Archive, who was an expert in Arthurian legend, and she's there flapping, and she's like, permission to come aboard? My arm's getting quite tired, my wings, and sort of comes and lands on the ship, and the crews for a second are like rattled and then realize it's just a librarian. And she's like, So, yes, I'm terribly sorry. I know you're about to set sail, but you wanted me to research about Mordred and places where you might find pieces of Excalibur. So, I've been up all night. I'm sorry. But I didn't find much that was conclusive. But I found two places in the Isles that we are sure that Mordred has been. One was Avalon. He had an attack on the World Tree that was foiled by Guinevere's knights. So we know he was there, and that there was a battle there. And the other place was Shedscale. He, it's documented, had some belief that the worm-bitten being of legend, worm-bitten, would have sympathy with the worm cause to which Mordred was aligned. They rejected him, thankfully. But yes, he was there for a while, camped out, trying to change their minds by putting them under siege. So yes, those are two places that we have historical records that we're reasonably confident that he was. Who knows if he had pieces of Excalibur with him? But at this point, the ship starts moving. She's like, "Oh gosh, I wanted to ask so many more questions. Please do come back to Roost when you get a chance. It was wonderful to meet you all. Goodbye," and sort of flies off the edge of the ship to get away as you set sail, with Vorm at the wheel. You sail. After a little while, the clouds clear up, and you can see the ground below racing beneath you. You sail for a couple of hours, and the wind's favorable, and when they're not, you have shapers to help the ship, the Gallant Gull, keep moving. You see the countryside below whizzing past at a dizzying pace. The fields become wilderness. You see first grazing sheep and cows, which vanish, and in their place you see wild deer here and there, wild horses running across some of the open areas, and little rabbits scarpering in the wake of this huge ship flying along. After a while, the Gallant Gull slows, and the wilderness gives way again to orderly, portioned fields. Not flat, still quite, gentle, hilly countryside. But in the fields, you see rows upon rows of neatly trained grapevines. You are above a huge vineyard, and Scriv appears at your side on the side of the ship. It's like, "Oh yes, this is Igraine's vineyard." You see all the Inspired at some point decided to take up vocations. So the Gallant Gull is Vorm's vocation, and Igraine grows grapes that make the most wonderful wine. You're a little young for that, but if you stick around long enough, you'll get to try some. Yes, isn't it marvelous? And you see that the ground just looks incredibly healthy. You can see the gleam on the grapes from up here, and they are bigger than any grapes you've seen back on Earth. You hear a cry from the crow's nest up above, "Avalon, no!" And you run to the front of the ship and catch your first glimpse of the World Tree. And it's magnificent. It's not as tall as some of the structures in Roost were, but it's massively broad, with a trunk at least 20 feet thick by your judgment, and too many branches to count. The majority of the canopy is lustrous green gold where the sunlight is hitting it, just thick and gorgeous and just gleaming with health. But as you draw closer, you begin to see the dark crack up the side of the trunk that reaches up through the wood. And above that portion, you see that the boughs and the leaves are withered and crinkled in shades of a kind of sickly red, deep brown, like dried blood. You sail past the tree and land in a clearing. The great ship coming down gently to rest expertly as Matilda calls out to the crew, like, "Gently does it! Come on, we've got precious cargo!" And you come down and land. The sailors rush to get the gangplank and tie off all the ropes. As you stand waiting, you see approaching you. You didn't notice the buildings at first here, just the vineyard and kind of like what seems like a training ground. But as you look, you realize the buildings are built into the hills so as not to disrupt the landscape, with greenery growing over the top of them and, shaped to complement the land, this being Igraine's territory. And you see riding towards you 3 knights in shining silver armor, their helms off and under their arms. They are riding gigantic boars with reins attached to their huge curled tusks. They are each wearing over their silver armor colorful silk tabards with different sigils, and their boars are draped in matching colors, one fuchsia pink, one sky blue, and one forest green. You also notice one of the knights is a lot smaller, like a lot smaller, and as she draws nearer, you realize she's a red squirrel in armor. They come forward and salute you, and the front one says, "Hello, I'm Sir Justine. This is Sir Caballo and Sir Erica. I'm sorry we don't have a proper welcome party, but we weren't expecting you till tomorrow. Why? What happened? Why are you so early? Not that we're not happy to see you." And Scriv comes forward and says, "We had a terrible mishap. We have grave news. You must assemble the council as soon as possible. We have much to discuss." And Justine, who is a dark-skinned woman with black hair in twists over her shoulder, side parted, looks to her companions and says, "Right, so, okay, we'll get right on that. Come on," and sort of whips the boar's reins and says, "Well, are you coming?" And she sort of rides the boar off down the path, and you are gestured to follow them. You bid goodbye to the crew of the Gallant Gull. Anything you want to say to any of them or do before we leave off for break?
Yes, absolutely. Dahi's going to go up to Vorm if he's there and just be like, "What's the coolest thing you can do with air? And the next time that you see me, I'll be able to do it, I promise."
Vorm just looks at you and closes his eyes, and a massive peal of thunder out of this pale blue sky rips through, and everybody sort of crouches and looks, and then he opens his eyes and just goes, "Oh, sorry, I was just demonstrating."
That counts as air. It doesn't have to be wind.
Weather in general.
Awesome.
It's pretty cool.
Please tell me you didn't just tell Dahi he could summon lightning.
I've been trying to summon lasers this whole time. I didn't know I could do lightning.
Natural lasers. The only thing.
Sorry, go on.
No, I was just saying the only thing Morgan would do is wait for a moment and just like psych herself up, go over to Vaughan and ask if she could get his autograph in her journal.
He sort of takes the journal and lays a couple of fingers on there, and his name just appears in floating script.
Thank you.
No, that's I don't know what use it is, but looks awkwardly at all of you and says, "You're doing well. Remember to tell Igraine
that we're doing well."
Yeah, and about the Black Knight.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And turns right back to the crew, and the crew are all now getting busy trying to set the ship up. And with that, we are going to go to break. Just waiting on the thumbs up from the producer. Rio, are you there? Yeah, great. Okay. See you soon. Welcome back. Welcome back. Hope you took a little rest, hydrated yourself, got comfortable, and hit subscribe, hopefully. We are here playing some Inspirisles. We've just come back from our break. We left off our Pendragon heroes, had just touched down at Avalon. And met with some of the silver apples. And I completely forgot to tell you the sign for silver apple, which I totally looked up. So so let me get this right. In BSL, it's like you do the sign for S and then do so silver, and then it's apple. So silver apple. Whereas in ASL, I believe silver is point to your ear and then this, silver, and then apple, which is part of Taylor's name.
Oh.
So yes, you met some of the silver apples who were once Pendragons themselves. You met Sir Justine on her fuchsia silk draped boar, seems to be a bit of a leader in this situation, Sir Caballo, who hasn't spoken yet, but he's on a sky blue draped massive boar with a yellow flower, which is his sigil, which Briar would recognize is echinacea flower. And Sir Erica, a tiny red squirrel in a tiny suit of armor on a massive boar with forest green silk draped over it and a little golden acorn sigil. They have been told that you have some news for the Council of Silver Apples. So Justine turns to Erica and says, Erica, can you go and collect people? You're quicker than anyone else. I'll take your boar. And Erica's like, sure. And sort of jumps down and you hear the clank of the armor and she runs away, this squirrel, over towards the buildings to go and tell the council to form up. Justine takes the other set of reins and the boar kind of peacefully enough lumbers along after you. Behind you, the gallant gull is lifting back off into the sky, and you look back to see it silhouetted against the hugeness of the world tree, the spiritual heart of the Isles, with its huge wound in the side. As you're walking, Justine is kind of speaking to you and saying, yeah, I'm really sorry. We thought you were coming tomorrow, so we had a whole thing planned. We were going to teach you some boar jousting, but I suppose if you've got other things on, maybe we'll get to it. Is it very serious?
No, not at all. We can do boar jousting.
And pushing Dahi a little bit. It is pretty serious. We've and explain what's been happening with Mordred.
Justine's face turns increasingly grave, and she's like, "Yes, that's one for the council, all right." And you carry on, and you go past the boar stables, and you can smell the stables. There's these. You look in through the door, and you see these like double width kind of bays in the stables for these boars. A few of them kind of snuffling in there with their snouts poking over the kind of half doors, sniffing at you. And a big training ground with kind of like bunting set out and kind of a jousting lane, but also it's a wide space where maybe they, let the boars out to run in rings or whatever. The knights stop, dismount, and kind of take their boars into the stable. And, Justine says, Scriv, you know where to go. And Scriv's like, Yes. Okay. Come along. There are sleeping quarters here where you can stay for the night. I'll take you along. We can get comfortable, and then we'll join the council in the amphitheater. Yes. And Justine sort of nods.
Can we sleep with the boars?
I don't think that's very safe. I mean, they're well trained, but and Justine's like, yeah, they'll totally stand on you. They won't even realize it. They just won't know you're there.
If that's how that's nature's plan for me, then it is.
Oh, you can totally go scratch a snout. Boris over there loves that.
Yes.
You go over and you see a little sign on one of the doors that says Boris, and the next one along is Ambor, and there's Deborah and Tibor.
Deborah!
And you go over and you kind of scratch his massive snout and you just go in a sign of what you take to be appreciation. And you give him a scritch.
Yeah.
So yeah, you get settled. Your apartments are basic. They're not as nice as your sanctuaries at home, but they're maybe an upgrade from the Gallant Gull in that you do get your own space for the night. And yeah, within the hour, the council are convened and you are taken into a kind of outdoor-indoor space. It's this sort of circular amphitheater where you can see all the silver apples kind of forming up. Silver apples forming up and taking their seats. They are a range of ages. There's maybe 20 plus of them around, but they range in age from, say, 25-ish, which is about the age Justine was, to the oldest looks about 60. Of course, you're 15, so the oldest looks about 80 to you. So you come in and it's this circular amphitheater, stone seats, but sort of plants and weeds growing up through cracks everywhere, and kind of you can see wooden sort of beams overhead that maybe used to have canvas in them, but now just have a mass of vines, hanging grapes and fruits from them. You see some of the silver apples reach up and take some of the fruit and start munching on it as they chat to each other. It's the first place you've come where everybody isn't constantly gawping at you, because these people used to be Pendragons. You're just the new guys. Some people kind of look over and some people kind of wave as they pass, but everybody's kind of like hubbub talking, and Scriv sits down and goes, "Oh, I remember the days. I thought about joining the council myself. If you stick around long enough, you automatically get a seat. But, other things took me away." Anyway, so they will all gather round and they'll debate what to do about the current situation. You might be asked to talk. But I'm sure you'll all be fine with that, right? It's only a small gathering. We're all friends here. Sort of keeps off babbling, and sooner or later, everybody kind of settles, and you see Justine stands and says, "So, order. So you've all been told the situation. It's very grave indeed. Does anybody have a first suggestion of what we ought to do?" And a man stands up. He appears to be of maybe Southeast Asian descent, and he stands and says, "Oh, I don't know about that. It's all very terrible. So, are we saying the worms have turned traitor now? Is that what's going on?" And Justine says, "No, I don't believe the worms have turned on us, but it seems that we have at least one Scaldron who's come back and is causing trouble. Is that correct?" And she sort of looks towards the cluster of you, and Scriv kind of looks at you and sort of nudges a couple of you like, she whispers, "Briar, I find it charming, but really just stand and talk."
Okay. I don't think all the worms have turned traitor. I think just some of the ones who never were happy with the situation have kind of banded together and have maybe called someone that Ellie knows to be a Pendragon for them. I'm not sure, but it's not all the worms. It's just some of the ones that never really were on your side, it seems like.
They all look around gravely. Another knight. She's only about 5'4", and she's kind of just got plain brown hair and a bob. Kind of stands up and says, "So, how did this Pendragon get through without Scriv noticing?" And sort of looks at Scriv, and Scriv stands up and says, I don't believe them to be an official Pendragon. They weren't, well, you can ask the well-wishers, but I've never seen them come through the Allswell, and I assure you I keep a close eye out. And they all sort of look at each other. She's like, I really do. I take my job seriously. Ellie, really, you can. I cede the floor to Ellie. Sits down.
So I've been here again like 3 days, but from what I understand, don't most Pendragons come at 15? So I really don't think he's a Pendragon. I don't think this is like something where we all need to be like, "Scriv, what'd you do?" Because he's older than us, and we already established that there are different ways to get into the Isles besides being a Pendragon.
I wonder, from what my colleague Ellie said, that from her knowledge and experience of this person, they are incredibly angry and that sort of fury, that sort of emotion. Maybe that is what has sort of appealed to the dragons, and maybe that they've sort of played on that anger to draw them through here and be manipulated in such a way. Now, obviously, I don't know this person at all. From what you said, Ellie, they're not someone that we'd want to deal with anyway, but maybe there is a way of communicating with them, perhaps, and switching, like who are they the ones leading the force, or are they just the figurehead?
And this like kind of hubbub breaks out of everybody kind of like discussing the possibilities, and then the man who came with your welcoming party, who was introduced as Caballo, he has sort of tan skin, he's bald on top, he looks about 30-ish, but you know, maybe looks a bit young for his age, and has like a dark beard, neatly kept, sort of stands up and sort of puts his hands up and goes, I'm sorry, I don't know if we're doing this now. Is this I mean, I think it's a good idea because sometimes it's not easy to know when to talk, and you can see that he's kind of awkward and a little bit shy, and he's like, so I think it's right that it can't be a Pendragon because we keep records. I don't know if you know, but the well-wishers do keep records of who comes through and who's supposed to be here. It's not just anyone with the ancestry who comes through. It's specific people are chosen to come through in a generation. So it's I don't think it's a Pendragon. I think the miss is right, and it could be the Red Caps maybe have done something, or I don't know. Sits down.
What are Red Caps?
Sort of without standing up goes, so they're like mushroom people who live in the Under Isles, and I'm sure they're not all bad. I don't like to think say that a whole people are bad, but there are a lot in Red Cap society who are in support of the worms coming back and being in charge. No one's in charge of the room, by the way. This is like an open discussion, so putting your hand up, everyone kind of looks to
Ellie.
Do it, yeah,
Ellie
yeah,
and
do
sort
it,
of
do
like
it.
watches her with her hand up and is like, until eventually Scribb goes, "You can go. You can yes, Ellie. This is Ellie."
I just wanted to make sure we're making it clear here. This has only been within like the last 6 months. Like this is a very recent thing where he's here. So I feel like a lot of people are thinking this is a Pendragon, even back at the Roost, they were worried that it's a Pendragon. I just think that this is someone who was, if I say that, I'm going to get in trouble.
He was like, well, I'm sure you wouldn't be in trouble with us. It's all safe here, I think.
Is it a swear word?
No, it was the part where the librarian told us that it's not Mordred's fault that he was a bad guy.
And they all sort of start hubbubbing, like, you hear people nearby going, well, at a certain point, aren't you responsible for your own behavior? And somebody go, well, the prophecy didn't do a lot of help, and all this sort of hubbub.
Nature versus nurture.
Yeah, okay. So I get that. I get that. Trust me, I get that. At a certain point, you make your own decisions to be a jerk. I think Eric probably relates to that a bit, though. Because even at school, I had never talked to him one-on-one. And I mean, I'm not like this popular, I eat lunch by myself in the library, yay me, whatever. But like, even on the first day, I was told this is somebody to just stay away from. Their bad news. Everyone at school knew who he was, not because, they were his friend, but because it was like, oh, he, just having a bunch of people talk trash about you all the time, eventually you're going to start to believe it. And he probably resonated with Mordred just a little bit. I'm not saying Mordred's a good guy. I want to make this very clear. I feel like we might be able to reason with him.
At this point, you see a small, furry red form stand up on top of like a chair. Because if they stood on the chair, they wouldn't be visible. They stand up on top of a chair. You hear a clank, and you see Sarah Erica, put her little paw up and go. So, I think that Ellie, is it Ellie, has a very good point. I, as you know, am a woodland creature, and you know, not everybody expected that I would be able to be a knight, and now I am. And I think it's important to give people a chance to do something you don't think they can do. And sort of sits down.
My God.
Okay, former Pendragons, listen up. Which of you guys know about the Legend of Zelda series?
You see like a lot of confused look, and then a few people put their hands up, and one person in the back goes, "It's a series?"
All right, my guy, you're gonna have a great time when you get back to Earth. Okay,
Cool.
so this guy, I feel like, is like our Dark Link, you know? He can do everything we can do with the shaping, with the cool sword, with the everything like that. But it's the inverse, because there wasn't belief there, and it was like shadow shaping, right?
And that
So,
sort of causes like
what's
a
the
hushed,
inverse?
like shadow shaping. Oh god, oh no.
Yeah, what element is shadow? We told it was 4. Is there 5?
There is a very
Is there like
awkward
disbelief shaping?
hush in the room as everybody kind of looks down, and eventually
crowd.
it's Kabaya who speaks again and goes, so there have been rumors of a fifth inspired, even potentially.
No.
It might all be nonsense, but there are people who've been into the Under Isles and claim to have met somebody who claims to be a fifth inspired, a shadow inspired, and you hear people going like, "No, it's just nonsense, all just rumors." There's no, and he sort of like puts his hand up, and they all quieten down. He's like, "I wasn't done." I think if these people have seen shadow shaping happen, then we can't just deny their experience. And somebody at the back is like, "They've been here 3 days," and he's like, "Still, I feel like you know it when you see it, right? I mean, what did
We
it
know
look
what
like?"
shadows are.
Yeah,
They're
I've been
shadows.
alive 15 years
Yeah.
and I've seen shadows.
Well, there you go.
But
Somebody
then,
sorry, go on.
oh no, I was just but then that makes sense, right? If what Ellie is saying is true, like maybe Eric isn't operating like it's not the worms, it's not Eric, it's this other inspired that is controlling, is the shadow, literally the shadow behind everything, and is manipulating everything to do stuff.
By telling them that the worms have claim on this land, and thus inciting another war between the worms and the Fae?
It would make sense because, well, if the inspired are part of this world, and in a sense, and they came from the giant originally, a fifth one would also have a claim to it, and so using the worms as a sort of army, as a support.
You hear somebody at the back go, "Maybe this is just an inspired problem. Maybe they should solve it." And everybody looks around and nobody owns up to saying it. There's just one guy at the back who's like,
"You thought Zelda was
Who
wasn't a
said
series."
that? Form's cool as hell.
and Justine says, "We've been through this. We can't just use the inspired every time we have a problem. It's not what they're for." And then there's a hush descends over the room, and everyone turns, and in the walkway leading into the amphitheater, you see a carpet of green spreading out along the ground.
Oh
And
no,
pacing
they were
ever so
behind us.
slowly into the center of the amphitheater, flowers and grasses and just spring spreading before her. You see, it can only be the inspired for Earth. Igraine comes and takes the center of the floor and says, I've been listening to your discussion, and I'm very sorry to eavesdrop. We inspired are saddened by these events. We will do what we can, but you know well that we are believed in. We cannot generate belief as you can. And we, long ago, she looks at the five of you, directly looks at you, and you see that she's, dressed in green and verdant vines, and she just looks at you and says, long ago in these lands, the inspired took on too much, displayed our powers too widely, and it did nothing but sow mistrust. And people lost belief in us, and more importantly, they lost belief in themselves. The Fae, the Pendragons, you must solve your own problems, not because we cannot, not because we will not, but because you must believe in yourselves. You must have a purpose. I would not rob you of that. Now, these Pendragons have travelled far. I would ask that you start thinking about solutions and then let them rest. And they all kind of bow their heads, and you hear a clank as they all lift a fist to their chests. And she, as slowly as she came in, paces gradually out of the room. She turns before she leaves and looks directly at Briar and winks. Keeps going.
Briar's just like...
And after that, the discussion does
Get it.
become more constructive. People are like, well, defense comes first until we know more. We have to double the guard on the All's Well, make sure nobody else is coming through there. We have to make sure some of us go out to the various Fae settlements and people know what's going on and to be vigilant. We have to, make sure there's a watch constantly on the world tree, make sure that's not attacked, and just all these little details. And they hash it out for the next couple of hours. And then finally they're done. And you are free to go and relax. Many of the silver apples take to their boars and go riding out across the land on their various errands, and you are left there. And Scriv stretches, getting up from her seat, and is like, well, that was your first council. I hope you enjoyed it. Looks around at all of your exhausted faces.
I like the first part.
Yes, the arguing part is draining, but also kind of the most entertaining. Still,
have you all thought of using Robert's Rules of Order or something, where it's kind of people take turns talking instead of everyone just kind of talking at once or yelling, or
like a speaking stick?
It feels like people who have good ideas like that, Briar, they come and they go, and sometimes they retire, and then we're left with, a bit of chaos. And then perhaps if you become a silver apple, then you'll have some great ideas for how we can improve the process. I think they'll be very, very welcome. I think that would be great.
Briar is already thinking,
Brutal.
I can fix them.
Yes, yeah, 100%.
I can fix them.
This is my design. The amphitheater.
Do you think that the shadow shaping isn't inherently bad, or maybe if it just looks spooky, people get freaked out by it when actually it could be just like the other elements?
I think it's the same as ours, and it's not necessarily bad, but I do think that the inspired that rules over the shadow isn't an inspired, but is like an uninspired, and is made out of disbelief rather than belief. And that's why it's happening now with the big tear in the tree. Dark Link.
Well, we just can't know. We need to know more. We need to investigate. Do you have... I mean, normally we would continue on the tour, but do you have anywhere that you feel like it makes more sense to go next.
Wasn't there the
Cool
battle
birds.
that wasn't there the battle that Mordred had near here that we could maybe look for a shard of Excalibur?
Well, there was a battle here, and I believe Myra said something about Shedscale as well in the north. So we could try to find out what we can find out here, try and investigate if we can find anything, and then if you like, we can head north post haste tomorrow rather than following the normal route. Normally we'd go to Wellspar, but oh, Ellie, you should know there are some Capra here. They're waiting on the harvest of the grapes. If you wanted to meet some of your friend Faye, they are here. So I'm sure they'd be delighted to meet you. I'm sure they'd be a normal amount of excited to meet you. So yes, but yes, if you would prefer that we break with tradition and see if we can find another piece of the legendary blade, then we can absolutely
Can we let
do
them
that.
know ahead of time if we're not going? Because these guys seem super stoked to meet us or to like stick to the plan.
Well,
And I'd
absolutely.
feel really bad ghosting them like that.
Well, I think they will understand given the circumstances, and we will complete the tour at some point. It's just, as soon as we're not in mortal peril. But yes, absolutely, I can send messages out. Don't worry about it at all. It's if it needs to happen for the quest, then it must be done.
I think if we're able to find pieces of Excalibur, even if we just have them, then we can at least bring them, because Excalibur was such a symbol for us, right? And so that at least is something against Eric and the dark forces.
Okay. I think, yes.
Did anyone's Pendragon leave them behind a metal detector or something?
I don't know that they did, but I can go and look it out and see if I can find anything. Let me go and have a look. Sorry?
Do you think the Capra might have something?
Well, these Capra are wine makers, so I don't see that they would particularly need a metal detector, but you could ask them. Be no problem with that. I'll go and check the stores. And she sort of wanders off and leaves you here in this kind of encampment area. You're just outside the amphitheater. There is the boar training ground and the stables nearby. There are your dormitories. There is the world tree. And also you see up on a hill a small mausoleum. Does anybody have a place that they would like to search?
Okay, so my impeccable vibes
Mausoleum.
with animals. No, hang on. I got an idea. My impeccable vibes with animals. Okay, I find a boar, instantly it becomes my best friend, right? Okay, stick with me here.
Uh-oh.
Then we show it Excalibur, we get it to sniff it out, and then we get it to smell and then track down Excalibur like truffles. Like how pigs do. But this is a boar, so it's cooler than a pig, so it can track swords.
That made a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah, right?
No, it didn't. Look,
I mean, there are flying ships in this world. I mean, like a boar sniffing swords could be similarly cool and weird.
I'm just sorry to halt you all. I'm just getting a quick note from the producer that we could do with taking a quick break. Apparently our cameras are not doing so great. We need to go and solve some technical issues and come back better. So we'll take a little break to sort that out. Okay, cool. to watch, and we can all hear each other, which is, you know, a bonus. Totally. We were just talking about using a sniffer giant boar to find a part of a legendary sword in a giant magical vineyard.
And a
That-
partridge in a pear tree.
And a partridge in a pear tree. Yes, absolutely. Is that what you want to do? Is that what you want to attempt?
That's the plan that Dahi's proposing.
How can
Okay.
we say no to that? Is my question.
Ellie just wants to see how this works out. Like that's
Yeah.
literally, she's just like, you know what? This can end two ways, and both will be entertaining.
Okay, great. So we're gonna put Dahi's impeccable vibes to
Yeah.
the test. Okay, great. Dahi, you go into the boar stables, and there are a few different boars. You see that all the ones you met before are still stabled there. You've got your Boris and
Boris is
Ambor
my bro.
and Deborah and Tiberius.
Oh, beautiful.
Take your pick.
Boris and I already have a rapport, but Deborah. Deborah.
Her name
Do you
was
think we could all take a
Deborah.
boar and like fan out?
Wait, that's smart. That's a good idea, though.
because I'm not usually smart.
Yeah.
Abort.
Abort.
Abort?
Why was that surprising for you, Ellie?
Dude, I'm tired. Listen, it's been like, we've been here 3 days.
Ellie didn't take to the hammock. Ellie slept with a sailor with the worst snoring.
Yeah.
She had her noise canceling headphones, and it was still. Ellie is
Too
at
loud.
that point of overstimulated where your skin is too much. She's just like, listen.
We need to get
It's
that
like, it's
pirate
not.
a CPAP.
I'm not surprised that you had a good idea. You're very smart.
Thank you.
I'm just surprised that I'm awake right now, let's be honest.
You can pick like the like gentlest looking boar, I guess. You know, the one that seems like you could sleep on.
Oh,
That seems like it's
absolutely.
Deborah. Deborah is totally like sort of just docilely like poking her snout over and just sort of looking at you all with her big boar, like beady boar eyes on the side of her massive head, like
She's so cute. I call Deborah.
Rest of you have to come up with boar names for your boars.
I think Bobby will sidle up to Tiberius and kind of offer a tentative hand to be sniffed.
it really tickles. The snout is kind of fuzzy, and the little tickly hairs as it sort of wrinkles its snout along your hand gives you a good sniff. Yeah.
Is there
it
one named
seems
Bora the
contented.
Explorer?
There is a Bora, yeah. I don't know if she's an explorer, but
find out.
you know, a lot of these Pendragons have the same childhood references as you. Okay, so you can all get on boars.
There's
What's
one
your
named
plan after
Borgin.
you're on a boar?
I was just
No,
gonna say
no,
there's
no,
one
no.
named Morgan.
I'll
There's
ride on
One at the
board.
back.
If you want to roll and see if there's a Borgin, I will allow it.
No. There's definitely a Borgin here. We're like,
There's definitely a
If
Borgin.
there wasn't, there is. We're nicknaming one.
I'll say there's a stable with a Borgin sign on it, but Borgin isn't there. Borgin is off with important things to do.
How does
Come
it feel that
on.
Morgan is doing?
it's
Borgin
working
has
by
no time for your
themselves.
shenanigans.
So
Yeah.
yeah, doesn't work well in teams.
That's the note under the name.
Not a team player.
Yeah, it's like, you know, when you
Straight
have those,
A's and everything else.
what is it like at Edinburgh Zoo? They're like, oh, okay, the penguin of the month is this one, and then naughty penguin of the month. because
Yeah,
they've got
bit my butt.
I
yeah.
was thinking of it more like an animal shelter where there's like animals for adoption and they have little signs like, I'm nervous, don't poke me.
It's
works
okay,
well with
Morgan. Look
children.
at there's one over here called Aurora Borealis.
This time of year.
Aurora
Not
Borealis.
this time of year.
Gasp, you win. You
In this
win.
part
Is
of
it
the
entirely
Isles.
in this stable?
I inwardly sigh and get on a random boar because Fiona the player is not clever enough to think of a boar pun in time.
Bjorn.
A Bjorn.
Okay, you just get the one that's called Bory.
Yeah, there we go. Yes, I'm on board.
Fine.
Bory
Bory.
McBoreface.
Yes, yes.
Born to be wild.
Oh,
Okay, that plays in your head as you saddle up. They're already saddled. They're ready to go. They need to be ready at a moment's notice to gallop off for the silver apples going across the land on important missions. So you can get on a boar and open the stables. I need Dahi is going to have the job of rolling to see how
It's okay,
this
because
goes.
I am Jason.
This is a
Bourne.
belief barrier to see if these boars want to respond to your impeccable vibes.
Yeah, impeccable vibes. 3
Impeccable
6s coming
vibes.
off, baby.
Absolutely.
What an 11 do?
I think
An
it's
11 is just a success.
Whoa.
Just.
The vibes.
And the board just sort of like wriggles and adjusts itself for a minute. It's like, who's this on my back? I'm not used to this. And then sort of settles and resigns itself and sort of clops slowly. It's not like riding a horse. There's a lot of sway on a giant boar, and you've kind of got to get like into the sway of it to ride as it ambles out of the stable and then kind of stands there and sort of like grunts as if to be like, so what are we doing?
Oh yeah, second part of the plan. I take out Excalibur.
Good job the boar's on it.
Yeah.
And then I'm just like, okay, you can fully understand me. We have a telepathic connection now. I need you to find the other part of this. Can you yeah, sniff this. Smells nice, doesn't it? Can you find the other part?
And it's sort of like, I need you to roll to see if the boar knows what you want and is able to fulfill this.
If
My
it knows
telepathic
what you want.
connection.
if I'm able to help in any way, I get out my journal
Oh,
and point to where, like, this is this, point to the door. But I don't get my journal too close because I don't want my journal to be eaten. So
Yeah, just sort of like reach out and do an experimental
no.
like
okay, so is that a +1?
Yeah.
it's a +1 to your roll.
Okay. Oh, okay, that's 15.
15. Okay, the boar sort of like looks at the journal, and these are exceptionally intelligent boars. They are giant. They have much bigger brains than regular boars. And it sort of like sniffs the sword and then looks at the journal and then sort of seems to like tilt its head up and sniff the air for a second, and then it just tears off through the vineyards, sending grapes this way and that, creating a massive line. You hear a cry, something like, oh, and like look behind, there's a bunch of Capra just like looking horrified.
Wait, those are my people! Those are my people!
The boar like gallops along, and it sort of like sniffs at the soil, gathers something up, and pulls something out, and it appears to be a metal sort of boot, piece of armor of some kind.
Oh my word.
It appears to be made of metal, but it doesn't appear to be part of a sword.
Metal detector. Does
The
anybody
boar
want
kind
a
of like
metal boot? Okay. Is there anything else?
I sort of, if we're able to pick it from the boar, I go, Bobby, can you use like your water to see if we can get it cleaned up a little bit?
Yeah, sure. I'll just sort of gently spray it. Just
Palms.
like my hand is a shower head now. I'm just like
okay. Bobby,
The boar might be thirsty. Let's see if he wants something to drink.
that is
Oh, come on, Bobby.
13. So
Yeah.
13 is a success. So you shape,
Right.
and yeah, so you add 1 for your shape, and the boar kind of like, and then sort of starts clopping more slowly this time, its nose to the ground, sniffing and sniffing and sniffing and sniffing, and sort of that very like strange twitchy snout going along, and the other boars seem to have caught on and they're all sniffing now, and they sort of go in different directions at first, and it's very confusing, and they all sort of take a bit of a tour around this vineyard and
Destroying
eventually
all the grapes.
kind of like, yeah, stealing a cheeky grape. Eventually
the
they all
Capro's
just
gonna hate me.
converge back at the base of the world tree and sort of look at each other.
We really should have thought about this even without the boars.
I mean, I'm glad they just
Yeah,
got...
but where's the fun in that?
Yeah, I was gonna say, they got a day out at the winery, so it's all good.
I mean, that's fair. I just feel very silly that we did not put this together.
So do
Right.
we start digging?
Well, I was
at
gonna say,
the base?
Briar, maybe you've got some ideas. If it's the roots, maybe you can
Yeah,
use it
Briar,
to-
let us give you ideas on what you can use your
Yeah.
element to do.
Yeah.
So what do you want to try, Briar, seeing as we're on Earth territory here? What you gonna do?
Yeah, I think Briar's like intimidated to try to, because like the obvious thing would be to like try to communicate with the world tree, but Briar's like, I don't think that's like seems a little intimidating. So I think I'm going to put like my hands on the ground and just see if I can use like my abilities almost as roots to like not literal roots, maybe literal roots,
Just
I guess.
as a sixth sense kind of thing into
To
the
try to
ground.
see if I can find anything underground.
Find anything. Yeah, okay. Can you roll for me? Are you using any of your... Have you got an infused item you want to use?
I do have an infused item, and I think I do want to use it. And I think I have the pendant necklace with the little moss agate. So I think I like kind of hold on to that for a second first. And then it occurs to me, because I'm very good at like growing things, but I haven't been very good at like earth things. I've been able to do it, but it hasn't been that successful. And so it puts me in mind of the fact that like the way that crystals grow, and like they grow in a similar way to plants, like they kind of like get bigger and like form together. And so I'm holding on to that and putting my other hand on the ground and like trying to use that to make me feel better about the earth.
All right. Roll your 3d6 for me and add +1. And shape as well, if you would like to add another +1 for that.
Yeah, let me see.
Can we help?
If you have an idea for helping, by the way, world tree.
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, I think this is how you do it, to sign roots.
Okay.
I think I looked this up before.
Roots.
So I'll do that.
That's very
That's
cute.
an ASL. So I will do that.
What was Ellie's idea to help?
Oh, Ellie has a knife with earth magic.
Okay. All right.
And so maybe she just starts carefully digging.
Carefully digging, excavating around.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that's a +3. So 2
nice.
infused items and a shape.
All right. Oh, okay. Okay, now I have to do math. 11, 12, 13, 14 total. 11 on the dice.
Okay.
And then +3.
So you put your hand to the ground and you hold on to your item, and Ellie excavates a little bit around, and you can use that as like a kind of tether, and you can feel the ground being disturbed, and you look for not quite a sensation, but you kind of do get the sense that the earth is like all one living thing to an extent, with the mycelial network and everything. The isles are an organism unto themselves, if conceived of in one way, and you kind of tap into that, and you will watch as Briar sort of like reaches a hand, her eyes are closed and she doesn't even realize she's doing it, reaches a hand up and touches the bark of the world tree and begins to walk around. Briar, you reach a spot and a voice says, "Oh, there you are." and you open your eyes, and there is Igraine, and she's there with a little knife and secateur of her own, sort of doing a little bit of weeding at the base of the tree. And she looks at you and says, "Do you know, it's easy to get disheartened when things seem too big." And she looks up, and the wound is directly above where she's just pruning weeds. "And I think when that happens, people forget to do the little things. Little things slip through the cracks, and sooner or later they become big things too. So I can't heal that, but I can do this, and that's what I'm doing. I think you understand that. Little things like giving something when one wishes to receive something. You see that there?" And she points to a point in the trunk that isn't the crack or the wound, but does appear to be like a strange inverted knot. Like as if the bark has been warped and twisted around something. At a casual glance, there are so many knots and gnarls in this huge tree that you might not notice it, but she points to it and says, "That might be worth a look when I get the time." And she casually wanders away.
I'm gonna like look around to be like, did anyone else see that?
The
Like,
others come round the side of the tree in time to see Igraine walking away, and Briar kind of stood there.
I feel like I just met a celebrity, but I think we should look at that. And I point to like the knot that Igraine pointed out to me.
Okay.
Is it quite high up?
It is quite high up. You start to process what Igraine said. You maybe were a bit like in the moment, like, whoa. And you zero in on offering something when you wish to receive something.
Ooh.
And you remember Scriv said that you can make offerings to the World Tree, and it is part of your quest here to do so.
Yeah, I think what Briar was thinking was like if we can get to that knot, like maybe that's where like the belief goes in or something. So it was like taking it very like, all right, we just get up there and we put it in. But I think seeing it's high up, I think I say, you know, the whole thing is about the belief and the dragons want to keep it. And Igraine said that, you know, sometimes just doing little things can help. So I don't know, we don't have a lot of belief, but maybe if we all put some into the tree, it could help a little bit.
Yeah, I was hoping to give some anyway. I didn't make any infused items, so that I didn't know we'd be coming here so soon. But yeah, I'm happy to give some.
Sure.
GM's note: if you offer 8 belief to the tree, you will go up to level 2.
Oh, well.
8 total or 8 each?
8 pooled between you.
Okay.
Oh, I'll give 5.
I got 3.
Well, we could all chip in some. I think.
Yeah. I've got 7. Just
yeah. Bobby said, "No, me." Level 3.
Wait, no, that's not right. My math's not right.
Other GM's
notes.
notes: it will ultimately cost you some belief to reforge Excalibur if you do find all the pieces. So you need some for that.
If we each do 2, then that's 8, right?
No, that's 10.
10, but
okay.
More,
So
more,
I can't
more.
count.
More is good.
More is good. I think that's fine though.
Oh, I wasn't counting myself.
Yeah, because then it's equal, and we don't have like this whole power dynamic about who gave more.
Yeah, who would do that? Like,
yeah. So it's not like, you know, oh, the tree likes me the most. I think it's equal if we all give it to.
Okay, so you've never done this before, but acting on instinct, what do you think you do?
Ooh.
Just gonna get on my knees and like put my hands on the roots.
That's fair. That's fair.
And just start like, oh, hello, tree. I'm just gonna start talking to the tree. Hello, tree.
Is anybody joining in with this?
No, I'm doing like a Hadouken. kind of push motion.
Pushing belief into the tree.
Yeah. Belief.
Bobby's gonna also touch the roots, but is gonna like gently release some water into the soil to kind of try and sort of put some belief into the tree via the roots and
I can't do
nourishing
that.
it.
I'll burn you up. Fire is very destructive. I
The
am very
leaves in the
sorry.
tree kind of hiss slightly, and you think you hear a voice say, "Thank you." Okay.
I think. Oh, go ahead.
No. Go for it.
I think Briar to put belief into the tree is going to very tentatively put her hands on it. And I'm going to think and try to recapture that feeling when I put my hands on the earth and felt like everything here was like one and like all part of something together, and try to like feel that again as I'm putting my hands on the tree this time.
Mm-hmm.
And in typical posh spice mode of Morgan, doesn't put her hand on the tree or anything. Yeah, it's like this. She looks up at the branches and the leaves, and just closes her eyes and just makes the sort of wind around them sort of go up into the leaves and sort of blow the branches like that. But it's definitely like a foot behind everyone else who's a bit handsy.
Okay. You all have a bit of a frantic energy for a second, but sooner or later, like lulled by the sound of the wind whistling through the branches, you all kind of find yourself getting a little drowsy, and you close your eyes and then realize the light is brighter, and you look and you are all glowing, and there are lines of glowing light connecting you all and then channeling through Briar and into the tree as you feel the warmth of its presence and feel yourself freely offer some of what you've gained in this magical place. And you make your first donation to the World Tree. You hear a creaking sound, and when you look, the wound looks ever so slightly smaller. Ever so slightly smaller. You also hear another creaking sound as the knot in the tree opens, and ding, 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 clattering down, you find half of the blade of a sword. And when Dahi, you hold it up against the hilt that you have, it matches.
You're on mute. Speechless.
Thank you, Tree.
Yeah. Thank you, Tree. So did like none of the other Pendragons ever donate belief or something? Or does the tree just really like us? Are we the favorites?
Maybe because
Okay,
they
my
didn't have
thing
the
is-
hilt before.
My thing is,
Oh,
did
true.
the Earth God lady know that the blade was there the whole time and just not tell anybody?
It seemed like
That's
that.
so shady of her.
Why was she not telling anybody?
Was nobody
No,
there at the
that-
council where we had to solve our own problems? There was a whole Oscar-worthy speech going on.
Maybe she just didn't think it was the time, like when you knew who Eric was, but you waited to tell us.
Morgan's like,
I'm so sorry. You know what, Briar? You're right. The next time we're in the middle of defending a bunch of people and getting shadows thrown at us, I'll make sure to stop and start giving this guy's entire life story.
I was being
To be fair, I was
sincere.
also. Yeah, to be fair, we also did stop and have a little bit of a conversation with him.
But I thought it was good that you waited. It made sense that you waited. And I'm saying maybe it makes sense that Igraine waited to tell anyone about the sword.
I lean over to Bobby and go, for once, I'm not the one that everyone's angry at. Is
Just
this
like,
what friendship's like?
And just do a gentle elbow pat, just like, you're a bit
Progress.
confused, but you got the spirit, buddy.
When Morgan's not looking, I'm like going like this in her direction, but her back is to me.
Definitely don't see it. I'm sorry.
Dahi just
And
sees it and
as-
goes, "Yeah!"
What are we doing?
At the secret side, nobody knows.
Everyone knows this. It's all over TikTok.
At this point, you hear a voice go, "Who left these balls here?"
Oh, sorry, those are ours.
Ow.
walk
Well, not
around and there's
ours. We
just
borrowed them.
a Capra in kind of, I don't know, what you would picture to be farmer's clothes, kind of rolled up sleeves on his shirt, kind of like simple sort of cloth
You're my
brown
people!
trousers. You what?
You're my
Oh.
people.
You do look familiar. But we have to get these boars back in. The boars are in the fields just munching on grapes. They've been left onto their own devices and they just like sort of look up guiltily and sort of like one of them squeals and they just run away.
Dahi's using his telepathic connection to call back Boris.
Deborah, get over here.
Yeah.
Unsurprisingly, perhaps, they are too far away to respond to vibes.
Did not pass the vibe check. Yeah.
But they are good boars, and they kind of run, and you realize they are running towards the stables. They are well trained. They know that they have had their fill of grapes and should not have had them, and go back to the. When you get back to the stables, they're all kind of there, standing in their stalls, looking kind of guilty, with like
They got, like,
little
grape
bits of
juice all
vine
over-
leaves, yeah, like stuck all over their snouts, and they're just like,
Deborah, don't do that.
she kind of like leans her big chin on your shoulder. Give her
Just
scritches.
it's not nice to eat other people's. That's their income. You can't do that, okay?
There's no income
Next
in this
time-
world. There's no money.
That's their thing, you know? How would you like
You
it if
hear
someone...
a voice from over by the door go, actually, we do trade those.
See, it is their income!
And you turn and you see like a little old lady Capra with like a shawl over her shoulders and big curled horns and little glasses. She's a goat person, you know, and she's got a walking stick, and she kind of looks at Ellie and sort of beckons with a finger. Come with me. Sort of slowly walks away and takes you off to meet your people.
Yes!
Which I think we will do next.
Ah, come on!
Okay, great. So you are all left in the stables. It's late afternoon here now. You spent most of the day trying to find this sword, messing around, getting into hijinks and scrapes. But yeah, we will pick up next time. Just for GM confirmation, do you think shed scale next time? Is that the plan? Or do you have somewhere else that you want to go?
Shed-scale is where the other piece of Excalibur probably is, right?
It's the only other lead you have, but
Yeah.
There.
Yeah.
Alright,
Bobby's
cool.
interested to meet some Wormmitten as well.
Yeah.
Cool. All
Yeah,
right.
I think probably a
so-
little bit of information gathering here to see if they got any new leads, and then because we didn't check out the mausoleum either, right?
Mhm, yes.
Quick,
we have
Ooh, I
that.
wanna check out the
mausoleum tour.
All right. Okay, great. So, we will do our outro. I have been Everis Burke. That is Everis. I use she, her pronouns. I write games myself. I did not write this one, but I publish under Buttonkin Games. You can find me at buttonkin.com. Taylor, tell them who you are and who you've been and where they can find you.
Hi, yes, I am Taylor. Or this is my sign name. And I was playing Briar. I use she, her pronouns. Briar uses she, her pronouns. You can find me online. Roll for Felicity, most platforms. That's Twitch, Tumblr, Twitter, YouTube. On Twitch, I run one-shots in a bunch of different systems. And so if you like seeing like games that you probably haven't seen before, I do a lot of that over on my channel. This month, I don't have my streams scheduled yet because I'm taking a little bit of a break, but I'm going to be focusing on 1 and 2 player games this month. So if you follow me on Twitter, you'll probably see me talking about that. And also I'll do some cross promo for Everis. I did run one of her games on my channel. I ran Drama Llamas. So we did a
Yes,
one
you
shot of that.
did.
So
Thank you so
it's
much.
not up on YouTube yet, but it will be eventually. And it might still be on Twitch. I think it's still on Twitch. But yeah, that's me.
Amazing. Thank you. Maddie.
Yes, I have been Maddie. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Maddie_abstract, and there's a link in my bio to all the various things that I do, including I am going to be on Actual Play UK, which is a new Twitch channel, on Friday, playing the second part of a two-parter D&D game where we're investigating a spooky wizard's tower. I am playing a chaotic tiefling monk, so that is fun. And you can also check out at A Game of One's Own on Twitter. It's my new podcast that's going to be coming out sometime soon, fingers crossed, where I play solo and 2-player role-playing games. And I'm hoping to have loads of guests on to play 2-player games with me. So yeah, looking forward to that.
Amazing. Wonderful. And next up is Fiona.
Hello. So when people aren't arguing about anyone but me, I am Fiona. You can tell I was doing this quite a lot. Yeah, and I run What Am I Rolling, which is a twice-monthly RPG one-shot podcast, which is all different RPGs and stuff, as well as interviews as well. We've got the DM's Book Club as well, which is a weekly book club podcast about D&D, boo, with my co-host Hamilton. We are, in a couple of months' time, we've just recorded our 3rd episode today. We're going to do the GM's Book Club, where we look at all the other RPGs and go, these are much better, and why do they tell better stories, and why are we so focused on D&D? So that is coming up in the near future as well, so it's very exciting. And as always, I always try and recommend a different RPG, just because it's just nice to get the thing out there. The one I've come up with tonight is Be More Crow, and so be like a crow and be like a cat.
Crow.
Timothy Roberts, but basically it's a solo RPG where you are those creatures. Be Like a Crow has actually just been nominated for a UK Games Expo award. I can't remember exactly what the category is, but I just got the Kickstarter notification about it, so congratulations to there. Yeah, cool solo role-playing game, so that's another one for you, Maddie. I know on your big list. But yeah, check those out as well. Thank you very much.
And if you back Be Like a Cat, you get a cat meme every day from on the updates. They're very good.
It's pretty fun.
That's genius. Amazing. Okay, Gaskinator.
Okay, I'm going to spend my time spelling out my name. Watch this. Okay, hello, I've been
It sounds like
You
you're
sound like
gonna
you're
explode at
bubbling,
the end.
Comment.
Look, my whole life is one of those like keep talking and nobody explode games. If I just keep at it, yeah. This is mainly the only thing that I'm doing at the moment. If you want to see me in anything else, you just gotta search. I'm the Shadow Shaper. Try and find me.
What? You're Eric?
Yeah, it's me, Eric. Short for Derek.
Short for Dahi.
Short for
Cunning
Dahi.
disguise. His name was Derek all along. Yeah.
Dahi is the Phantom of the Opera.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That is a twist I did not see coming. Okay, great. And Nox.
Hey y'all, I'm Nox. And I was Ellie. So glad I picked short names with the same letters. You can find me on social media at Nocturnal_7. And this week you can find me lots of places. This is what I'm jokingly calling my Hell Week. If you were in theater, you'd understand. So I had this today. Tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to be over in the Initiative Order playing Inferno, where I'm Alma. It's really fun. We're journeying through hell. My character does not want to be there. Friday, it's a 2-for-1 special. I'm going to be on Girls Run These Worlds twice on Friday. 2 p.m. we're finishing up Arnika's birthday celebration as we ran through Rotten Wonderlands. And then that night, I'm going to be on Valor, which is a game sponsored by Valorous Games. And it's magical girl style. It's really fun. My character, Lucinda, again, does not want to be there. And they're going to be in a very dangerous situation. If you want to catch up so that you're ready for Friday, the VOD is, of course, on the Girls Run These Worlds YouTube. And then on Saturday, I am torturing people with my GMing in School of the Stars, which is a Kids on Brooms game where we're almost done. We're almost at the end. everyone's like, okay, we're almost there. It's going to be fine. It's not going to be fine. If you want, and I'm hopefully going to start a podcast soon where I'm going to be playing solo TTRPGs or 2 players with my boyfriend. So if you want to be aware of the things that I'm going to be doing, follow me on Twitter.
Amazing, wonderful, thank you. And creator applications are always open for Girls Run These Worlds. If you want to be sitting where I am sitting, just fill that out. Should be links in the chat, I think. And remember to subscribe and let your friends know if you've been enjoying this. We will be back at the same time next week for the 5th part, the penultimate episode of our Inspirisles run. Very excited about that, and thank you everyone for watching. And
Also, shout out to the producer Ryu. Thank you.
Shout out to the producer
Shout out
Ryu.
to Ryu.
Oh yeah, I'm so sorry. Thank you, Ryu. We could not do
Especially
this
with the
without you.
technical difficulties. Thank you.
Exactly.
Thank you for coming
so
into
much
our
for
very own
solving that.
homes and fixing our Wi-Fi's.
My
and
God, I didn't know
giving
that
us
was where the
in-
router was. Yeah.
Yeah, and then giving me a warm blanket and telling me it's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Giving me
You
another
really
Dr.
went above and
Pepper.
beyond there.
Ryu
not
brought
do
me
it
my
without
Dr.
you. Thank you so
Pepper
much.
so that I didn't have to get up. It was amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Cool.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.